Hey everyone, Michael here, Superhero Revolution. As you all know, my whole idea about superheroism is about the fact that we're all born with this power within us to be able to do anything we want, to have anything we desire, to affect change in the world, to transform the world, from one person at a time. So my ideas are that as we grow older, a lot of times that power is suppressed, and we lose sight of who we truly are. And sometimes in life, an event can happen, and sometimes it can be even, what most people would consider a tragic event can happen, and that's what turns it around for us, and we use that power and then turn it into something really positive. So I'm here with my friend Donna. Donna Palomba is the founder of Jane Doe No More, and she's a friend of mine, and I've known her for a few years, and I'm on the board of directors of her organization, Jane Doe No More. And now, if you want to hear about Donna's story or read about it, you can go to janedoenomore.org, janedoenomore.org. But what we're going to talk about here is how she took an event that happened in her life and turned it into something that is incredibly powerful, and how it's changed her life, but not only her life, but also the lives of, thousands, hopefully at some point millions of people across the country and across the world. So, Donna, thank you for having a few minutes with me. So, at what point in your life, after what happened back in the 1990s, did you decide to use it and affect some change?
That's a great question. It took a while. I was, being a victim of crime, I was thrown into a world that I really knew nothing about, and I had to navigate through a system that was completely foreign to me. And I had run into a lot of obstacles. And I realized that many victims of sexual assault are running into the same type of things. And there's things that could be better in the system, in policies and procedures, in a lot of different things. Law enforcement. And it's a misunderstood crime, and it's completely underreported. It happened to me when I was a grown adult with 2 children. It normally happens to children that are under 25. And so I wanted to make change, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do that locally at our police department, go in and meet with the chief and make those kinds of changes. And then I still had this energy about it, there's a lot that goes with it. It's a horrific event, and it festers, and so I said, you know what?
You're turning that energy into, something's going to happen with that energy.
Right.
So why does mine use it for something that's positive?
Exactly. I could have spiraled downward, and I'm not superhuman. I have dark days.
I consider you.
Oh, but I have found that by taking action, positive action, and saying, what are the things that we can change? Well, police officers could better understand this crime. We can educate them more. And everyone that touches the victim, if they nurture them and allow them to heal, that is a direct result of a healthy recovery and an outcome, which is so important. And I realized that...
It's all the difference in the world for their entire rest of their lives.
Exactly. It's pivotal.
No matter what does happen, it's the reactions of the people around them, the people that are, helping with the crime, and the compassion that they show. Because if they don't show that compassion, if they don't show that there's nothing wrong with them or they didn't do anything wrong, then they can take those kind of emotions and it can just affect their life in such a bad way. Forever.
It could wreak havoc. The crime wreaks havoc on your mind and your body. It's a very complex crime. But if you're allowed to heal and not be blamed for it, on top of just not being nurtured, a lot of victims are actually blamed. And that's so detrimental to your healing. And that's what happened in my case. I was blamed, and it's unfortunate. So I'm there to tell other victims, you have nothing to be ashamed about. It is not your fault, and it does not diminish who you are.
For sure. Now, the first real big thing that happened was here in Connecticut. There was a law actually changed because of your circumstances, correct?
That's right.
Just real quickly go into that, what happened there.
Sure. In 1993, when my crime occurred, there was a statute of limitations on sexual assault crimes of 5 years. My perpetrator was masked, no ID. The only thing that we had was DNA evidence. 11 years later, the detective in my case, who is now Chief of Police, Neil O'Leary, connected the dots and was able to determine who the perpetrator was. Solve the crime through DNA evidence. Unfortunately, 11 years after the crime, he couldn't be arrested for the crime he committed because of the statute of limitations. It's crazy. Our laws need to keep up with the science of DNA. So in 2007, I advocated for a bill that was put forth by the governor in the state of Connecticut.
Governor Jody Brown, right?
Yes. And in August of 2007, Governor Rell came to the Waterbury Police Department, the very station where I was abused, and signed this into law, which means that there is no longer any statute of limitations on sexual assault cases involving DNA, as there shouldn't be.
Sure.
And so if a perpetrator is found 20, 30, or forever down the road, he can be arrested and prosecuted for the crime.
That's amazing. Now, is that something that is going to be, going across the country?
Well, we hope so. Because of my case, Connecticut changed its law, and so did New York.
Okay.
There are still 14 states in the country that have a statute of limitations.
Certainly, certainly. So that's part of our work.
Yes.
Now, talk just real briefly about some of the other work that we're doing with the organization and how we're taking it to a scale that's, not just here locally in Connecticut.
Absolutely. We are a national 501c3, so we're creating a really exciting initiative. We're creating enhanced education for law enforcement. Often our officers are trained, but using textbook type training. And we want to create something that's meaningful and really is impactful. And so we're creating multimedia training. And our first video is going to be a roll call video called Duty Trumps Doubt. And it's specifically for first responders. And it's just a reminder from other law enforcement officers of the fact that things aren't always as they appear. And there's some survivor stories that are incredible, and it's important to realize that my story is just one of hundreds of thousands.
Right, and you certainly realize that as you have been out there speaking and meeting people and meeting survivors. And you, obviously, it's very powerful stuff. And I'm a little bit involved with the video and everything. And
Yes.
It's been an amazing process, and we're excited to kind of kick it off. A couple other things. First of all, your pendant. Tell us about your pendant.
Okay, great. This necklace is designed by Donna at the Gilded Lily, and it is a symbol for Jane Doe No More. It's an awareness heart, and turquoise is the symbol for sexual assault awareness, and it's beautiful. It's set in sterling. It's topaz, the blue topaz, and we have this in multiple sizes, and every pin that is purchased, like 90% of the proceeds go to Jane Doe No More, and it's just an incredible way to start a conversation because we know we need to talk about this crime, and it's also a beautiful piece for you to enjoy.
Now we can, I'll send out some information with my newsletter about how you can purchase the pin. We have a small pendant that you get for only $35. It's beautiful, and out of that $35, $30 goes to Jane Doe No More to help with the organization to further its work. Another thing we have coming up, we have a great event with Dr. Henry Lee.
Yes.
An awards dinner ceremony that will be in a month or so, and that's going to be an ongoing event. Just briefly talk to us.
Sure. It's an inaugural Dr. Henry Lee Award and Recognition Dinner. It's at the Trumbull Marriott on March 12th. Dr. Lee will be the keynote speaker. He's an amazing man, and he's being acknowledged for his tireless work to improve the way victims of sexual assault are treated and his search for the truth.
Now, if you don't know what Dr. Henry Lee is, he's basically the guy that the defense doesn't want to see come into the courtroom because he's going to probably survive. He's going to probably, solve things. He's a pretty amazing guy, and you've gotten to know him pretty well.
I have. He actually resampled the DNA in my case and testified in my civil trial against the officers that were negligent. And I'll never forget that he always told me that every victim should be treated with dignity and respect, and every law enforcement officer needs to keep an open mind.
Well, this has been great. Donna, you're an amazing woman. You know how I feel about you. Now, this is just a reminder to everybody that no matter what happens in your life, you don't have to wait for something to happen to find your voice, to find your truth, to find your power, to do some amazing things in your life. So hopefully this provides you with some inspiration. So talk to you soon. Thank you.